Good morning. So today's project, seats. So the seats should look like this, nice and clean. This one's a passenger seat, obviously, relatively clean. Sorry about the sunshine. Although it's sunshine, it's actually snowed here. Look, snowed overnight. So it's freezing. So what I'm going to do is use this vax machine to clean off all these seats and all the upholstery. This seat, again, you can't really see now because the sun's bloody come out, is a bit grimy. This isn't wear, this is part of the material, this is part of the design. But anyway, I'm going to clean all these up, see what that looks like. But it is bright sunshine, but it is absolutely freezing, as you can imagine. So what I was going to do this morning, today, was I sprayed in here yesterday with some like stone chip. It's not really stone chip, it's just like, well, it says stone chip on the back, on the thing, but it's effectively thick white paint. But anyway, I picked off a bit of this undersill yesterday. Both sides are like this. To the front, it is solid metal. Is completely solid, it's just heavy surface rust. So I've ordered some rust converter for there, but it's not in stock. I've ordered it from Screwfix, it's not in stock unfortunately. So that'll turn up tomorrow, but we're off to France tomorrow, so I'll get some more work done on this next week now, maybe Sunday. But the rest of this passenger side in the wing's okay, but as I say, the driver's side's got a little bit of corrosion sort of just there. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to convert that, use rust converter on both sides, and then spray it with this stuff, and then paint it all white, and paint all the suspension spray. Just give the suspension a quick squirt off with some black paint, just to tidy it up. As also that, because I've got a bit of, I sprayed that inside there as well. Just while all this is off, might as well. I mean, I don't really suffer with rust in here, but they do suffer with rust everywhere else. So I thought, well, might as well just go over it. But anyway, can't really do that today because I haven't got the rust converter. So there's no point in starting that. I did clean this carpet off. That's a shadow. That looked all right. That's okay. So just going to do these seats, see how they come out today. All right, so I've done the drivers, passengers, and this jump seat here, this one, and that is the colour of the stuff that's come out of it. So they're not looking too bad. Obviously they're damp, so they will look a bit darker. This is the little infill cushion that goes in between the seats there. I haven't done that one yet, but yes, that is the colour of the water, and those seats looked clean. Good morning. So it's had the weekend to dry. Again, you can't really see it very well because of the sun, but the seats are all sparkly clean. The weather's been atrocious over the weekend. We've been to France. But the seats are still a little bit damp, to be fair. And I've also cleaned all of I've had the curtains off and stuck those in the washing machine, so they're all nice and clean as well. There's a little bit of a mark on the back one, can't see it. The sun's just right in everything. There is a little bit of a mark on the back curtain, but nothing to worry about. Right, so today I'm going to take these off. This one, these are just steadies for the bumper, just at the ends, because they're all corroded at the ends. So I'm going to just quickly whip those off, clean those up, give them a paint, and then this has turned up new one of these. So I'm going to whip this off, put the new one on, and then I'm going to give the new one a coat of, although it is obviously painted black anyway, I'm going to give the new one a coat of Hammerite just to try and save it a little bit. And do that. I've also bought some rust converter. It's come from Screwfix. It was like less than £8. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to convert, paint that on there. It takes 72 hours to go off though, apparently. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that bit in there. It's a bit manky. I get all that done, and that's about it so far. Now I have had a message on one of the forums, one of the Autosleeper forums. I can't remember if I put this in the last video, about a guy that had bonnet, wing, bumper, headlights, etc. Don't think he had a grille. Anyway, I've managed to secure those. I'm going to go over to Swindon next Saturday. It's now Monday. Go over there on Saturday and pick all those parts up. He said they're not perfect, but I was planning on painting the wings and bonnet and stuff anyway, because as I said before, the paint on these vans is atrocious. It comes off as soon as you look at it. And we already know it's had the bonnet painted and this wing at least. So what I'll probably do is get them sprayed. It'll be quite a simple job because they're white anyway. So scuff and paint them. I won't do it, I'll get someone to do them properly. Scuff and paint those before they go on, but at least I'll be able to put the front together. Also that's turned up is a radiator, second-hand radiator. I went with a second-hand genuine radiator because I thought it might be better than a new one, and that was £34 delivered. I've just got to run a wire brush along the bottom of there just to get that. There's a couple of little marks in it, but it's nothing. This is nothing of a problem, so that'll be fine. I like to try and recycle as much as I can rather than buying new stuff if I can help it. It works out cheaper. So that's that. So that's jobs for today. Get that radiator sorted out. Get the fan that I've got in there mounted to the rad. I see need another fan. I've got one of those coming. I think that was £40 delivered. Let the van dry out inside. That looks a lot better and it smells nicer. Oh, it smells of citrusy things. So get all this rust treated today onto there. Get that rust treated there. Get that bottom cross member off. Get that painted. That's about it really. Can't do a lot else. While I'm just waiting for parts. I'm gonna have a quick look in the air filter, see if I can see how the air filter's doing, and I'm gonna just probably maybe whip off part of the cover for the cam belt just to see what the cam belt looks like. Now the alternator belt or the auxiliary belt actually looks quite good, so I'm hoping that's possibly been changed. I'm going to see if it looks good or if it looks really worn. That's about it. The other thing I might do, yeah I will, in fact look at that, is I'll whip this battery out and then I'll just give this a coat of paint as well, just while it's all off. It just makes it easier. So they are jobs for today. Alright, so I've got this off. There's a bolt there which snapped. There's a bolt there which I had to angle grind off. And that would sit like that. So what I'll have to do is probably just move it up or across that way, because I haven't got a captive bolt to go in there. If I just, or even just have one bolt in that, because all of that does is cover that wire there. So that piece of metal just goes across the top of this wire, and this sits in a plastic thing in the top. So this plastic bit just clips into there like that. So I might just put one bolt in there, just a little put way to bolt it, or I could even just move it over that way a fraction, just to there like that. Sorry, get it in frame would be better. So I might just move that across there rather than it be there, not have a bolt in that, or just literally drill one hole in that. It doesn't really do anything, it just covers that wire up. So I'll do that. And then these are the bolts that come out of the driver's side. You can see how rusty they are. So I'll wire wheel those down, cover those completely in copper slip. The other side aren't so bad. Obviously the water runs down and then through there, But you can see how rusty this is. Like, that is wafer thin. So there was no point trying to repair that at all. So I'm glad I got another one. But the rest of it's identical. It's just those two, or that one hole there. There looks like there should be another little square hole there, two little clips that go in. But that's not in this particular one. But it makes no difference. So it's just literally that thing, which is a cover for a cable. The rest of it's the same. All of that is exactly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bolt that on, and I'll drill that hole through. I'll clean that up with a wire wheel, put it all back together, and then I'm just going to paint it up, because that will then offer this a little bit more protection. Not a lot, but a bit. Yeah, and then I'll give these a clean up and cover those in copper slip. Alright, so some progress, some not so much progress. So I was messing up with this, obviously the intercooler. I knew it was damaged there anyway, but I didn't, but it's not actually damaged that bit. Anyway, whilst I was just fitting that front cross member, I noticed that this was a little bit loose. The clamp on that was loose. Now you can't see that from there. You turn it round, the back of it's all busted off. I have had a wiggle of the pipes, and I can't, there's no plastic bits in there, so I think it's just obviously snapped and then fell out the bottom. But yeah, it was in there. So that's a bit annoying. Anyway, I've ordered another one, 57 quid brand new, or I could have ordered a second hand one for 53, so I thought, sod the expense, brand new one. I've also had the cam belt cover off. There was a bolt missing there, so I know that's been off before. And I've checked the cam belt, and I've had a look inside at the water pump, and that looks relatively new. So I would say that this is recently, and this auxiliary belt, I say, is also in very, very good condition. So I think this has had a cam belt relatively recently, certainly in the last couple of years. So I'm not going to worry about that for a while, because I think that is good. It certainly didn't look, there was no damage to it, no cracks, no perishing. It was very nice and shiny, it was nice and black. So I think that's all good. So that's it, yeah. So I've got this cross member on. I've painted all that with Hammerite or Smoothite. I just put a bolt in there and then I drilled hole and put a bolt in there. I mean, that's not going anywhere, is it? It literally just covers this pipe up. Put that back on. So that's not going anywhere. What else have we got to do? Nothing much really. Just now, I want to jack the front up, get the wheels off, and just finish painting. I've painted those, and then just get this rubbed down, get that rubbed down in there, get that rubbed down in there, just to get this. Can you see that in there? Just to get this what do you call it, rust converter on there for tonight, and then I think that we'll be pretty much done. Oh, on the radiator, I've just got to put the fan on the radiator, but I've sprayed the top of the radiator with some paint, just again tidy it up. But so that's all nice and tidy now. So that'll be all okay. I'll get one of the fans on there today, then that's one more fan to go on there, and again that's then ready to go back in. But now I can't run it up because the intercooler is missing. So, and it did run, and it ran quite well. So, but almost there would have been some massive boost leak, so it wouldn't have run very well when you went to boost it. But about to find that now. I've had a closer look at everything else now that everything's out, that's out, and I can't find anything else. So it was just the fact that it was right down there, and the pipe was hiding the damage. So I would have found it eventually, but I found it now. Right. Whoop. Let's get on with getting that battery out, getting that painted up in there, getting the wheels off, and then just going from there. So I thought I'd just show you what a little hole turns into. So this is on the driver's side, or offside front wheel arch. So that was a little hole, and I've just picked it all off, and that is what was in it. bits of rust and all sorts of mud. And I've also just picked off the bottoms of that along there. So that is a relatively easy repair. Straight piece of metal across there and an infill panel there, so it is easy. And I will treat all that. I've just literally wire-wheeled it off, but I will treat all of that with that rust converter before I do anything with that, and I'll obviously spray something inside that before I put the metal on. But that's just got a little hole, and then it's just got impacted with mud and debris and all sorts of stuff, and then it's just gone worse. So obviously cut that across there, trim all this up, and then get rid of this seam sealer on this side, and then just weld directly to that. So that bit's, I can't really see, but this bit's okay. And then so that'll be again relatively easy, but good for a couple of hours work doing that. And then just got to treat all that with that rust converter, like I say. Same the other side, but all this hole isn't here on the other side. It's basically what they've done is they have, I'm assuming the garage that sold it, I can't imagine the owners have done this, is they've sprayed it with Schultz, and then it's just hung here. They've not gone behind this panel. There's that behind that panel, fortunately, is solid. So what I'll do is I'll get underneath it and do the other side as well tomorrow. I'm running out of daylight today. Get the other side of that and just clean all that off as well, and rust convert and use that converter on that just in case there is anything on it, but I don't think there is. Well, let's have a look. See anything? Yeah, I think the other side's okay. Yeah, I think the other side looks to be all right. Just a little bit, oh, maybe a bit there. I think that's just dust. I think that's just rubbish. But anyway, I'll get underneath there and have a look tomorrow, and then see what other rust there is. But I'll convert this bit of rust, or I'll put some of that rust converter stuff on this today. Get going, and it says if you need another coat, put another coat on it, but that's going to hold it back a bit. I know I'm never ever going to stop this thing going rusty, that's just a given. However, the more you can try and hold it at bay, the better. But the rest of it all in here is okay. But it's just where they've just shortsed over, they probably just short straight over some rust, which is why it's just going flipping manky again. But I'll say I'll have a good go at getting this done, getting as much of that rust converter stuff on this as possible on the other side, and then that'll hold it at bay, I think, for as long as possible. But it's not too bad. That's just annoying more than anything. So this is what it does. It turns that rust into like a black colour. It's all over the ground here. Anyway, and it's turning that all black, and that in there all black. So it's obviously some sort of chemical reaction going on in there as well. The light's gone flat. Anyway, everything is covered in this stuff now. Everything, I've got a bit in there. So everything that I found that looked like it was rusty, if you can see that, everything that looked like it was rusty has been treated with this chemical stuff. So you can give it a second coat after 24 hours. So I'll give it another go over tomorrow. But that is it for today, as it is now 10 to 4 and it is getting dark already. That's problem. It's mid-November, near the end of November to be fair. Well, yeah, mid-November. So that's that for today. But progress has been made, which is good. Right, I'll catch up with you maybe tomorrow, depending on the weather. Au revoir.